let's get right down into our first demo. There will be a couple of demos as we go along. So let me, okay. So what we're going to do is look at this site. It is a test site that we are looking at. Now, this site it's a test site that looks like a bank, and the attacker is going to send high volumes of attack to the site, and to a point where uh, the site experience starts getting degraded, right? It may even go completely down because of the volume of attacks. And to do that, I'm going to be using this tool, which is actually a load testing tool. It's not really meant as an attacking or a DDoS tool, but it generates a lot of load on the web servers, right? This is a performance testing kind of tool, not really using a malicious tool or something, right? But just to show you that what happens when enough load comes. So what's going to happen is we hit a resource and load it so hard that the web server is not able to serve up other requests and other sites, right? I mean, for other people and stuff. So let me just launch it right away. And it's you can see it's sending a high number of requests continually, right? As soon as one finishes, next one starts, and that's pretty much what this load testing kind of thing does. Let me come to this this thing, and I will also load it in new tabs and see what happens. So you can see it's a little bit slower, and as you start browsing and as you start doing things, it will get generally slower and slower and slower. To a point where things will start failing. You'll start seeing failures in the tool as well because the request stopped working. I mean, it's already looks like in this particular case, it was already to a point where the experience is already getting degraded. And I think these conditions not even getting through at this point of time, right? So, okay, this loaded, but after an insanely large amount of time. So anyway, this I think is enough to show that, this is the kind of stuff the browser will see. Various users will see errors. Things will work. Things will stop working after some time. It's just you'll get 503s. You'll get various degraded performances as the attack continues. So to continue down this, right? Let me go to the next one, right? So what is the impact on the business when something like this happens? Right? Even just 1 hour of business downtime. So this has been estimated by independent researchers and institutes, like the $300,000 per hour cost of downtime. Now, how does this work out, right? It's not just the business that is lost when the person actually comes to the site and cannot continue the thing, right? What this actually means is that what this actually also considers is that a customer comes, either they can't get through the site or they get through a few steps, but they can't check out, or they can't complete the task they actually came for, or it took too long. All these kind of things is that the customer might just go to a competitor and just finish their transaction there. And at this point of time, what this means is it's also estimating the lifetime value of the customer who's gone away. So this is a serious impact, and $300,000, per hour of downtime is not a small amount. Coupled with that is the other side of things. The site still has to come up. It's currently down, it's under stress. How do you bring it back up, right? So you have to get your engineers in place. You might have to get consultants. You might have to spin up more and more infrastructure. All these kind of things also add to cost and operations, right? So there is a big cost due to 1 hour of business downtime. And unless you actually can fix the problem, an attacker, as you can see, it's very easy to launch attacks, right? So an attacker can just keep launching more attacks every few days, every few weeks, whenever they feel like it. Let's go back and see in a very similar sense what happens when through the Aptrana. So this is still a vulnerable site. Just go back here. Let's look at. So this is this site, DDoS demo test. It's the same site actually. But it is protected by Aptrana on the front this thing, right? So we'll show what happens when the same attack is launched via Aptrana. So let me just, before I do that, let me just send you show you a couple of things. So same request. So one of the basic things, right? Okay, so if I send one request to this protected site, the interface WAF will immediately send you back saying that no, you can't go there because you don't have a cookie. So unless you have a cookie, we don't allow you to proceed because we set the cookie so we can track, right? And the idea here also is that even something this simple derails a lot of simple bots because they will never get past past our initial this thing that, hey, you don't have cookie, go back. Oh, don't have cookie. So they just stuck in that endless loop kind of stuff. However, attackers can be smart enough. It's they can get cookies. They can either go through the flow to get the cookies automatically, or get a bunch of cookies by interactively and then just feed it into the bot, right? So when you go with the cookie, which is what we're doing here, we're sending the cookie, you actually get the page loaded, right? So now let's send the attack with the cookie. So there are simple protections we can do, but even those obviously can be circumvented. So let's run the same attack on the protected side with passing the cookie and whatever else we need to do, right? So here again, we're running the exact same test, the same limits and stuff like that. And at this point, you should see that the site is not really affected, because most of the load, this kind of load, is being absorbed by AppTrana. It's never, the bad traffic is not really hitting the site, right? And K6 will also start complaining after a point that we're blocking a bunch of traffic, right? You don't see this here, but it is getting redirected. It's never reaching beyond our WAF kind of stuff, right? But regular users still have full access to their sites, right? That's the point. We're not stopping anything like that. So these are errors when K6 finally reports it that, okay, we're blocking this, we're blocking that kind of stuff, right? So this is how a protection in the front is actually going to save your website and your experience completely. I just may as well show this here kind of stuff, right? That the other kind of protection that we can do, one is, of course, a rate limiting. You have a cookie, without a cookie, don't go ahead. Too many things, we can block the IP. And the other thing we can do, of course, is that, hey, too many requests on a particular site, typically login pages or any other critical resource, you have to prove you're human before you can continue, right? So this is, again, something that can be done in AppTrana, but yet another layer of defense, because bots will not probably be able to, will not be able to pass the captcha, right? So this is the kind of stuff that we can do, but you don't want to use it on all sites, on all pages of your sites, because it does interfere with your user's journey kind of stuff, right? So these kind of things are an option, but it should be turned down only. It can't be your first thing to do kind of stuff, right? Either critical resources or or after a certain threshold of requests is when you go and do it. Okay, let's get back here. So this is how AppTrana will actually protect your website and save you from any of these attacks in a very small kind of demo.